excuse the vulgarity as I say this, but it just came to mind. The spirit of desperation is a spirit of whoredom. You're a spiritual whore. You spiritually open yourself to any and everything, soul ties, demonic ties. You become a spiritual whore. You're down for everything. You have no limits, no boundaries, no class. Today's video is all about the spirit of desperation. And again, I'm not hurt feelings, but I've been through it. I've struggled with it. Ugh, cringe just thinking about it. We're going to talk about how it manifests in all areas of your life, academically, relationship wise, both with family and friends, and really like intimate relationship, and especially in your spiritual life. Ugh, the spirit of desperation is a very annoying one. But we're going to talk about this and more. But first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, KarineAlourde Mental Gems. This channel is dedicated to leveling up in all areas of your life. So let us learn together, read together, but most importantly, grow together. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. So let's talk about the spirit of desperation, right? Let's talk about the signs of it first, so you can see if this is even something you struggled with. Comment in the comments if you struggle with this, right? So one is extreme emotional fluctuations, rapidly shifting from feeling happy to being overwhelmed with sadness or anger, often triggered by seemingly small events. Some people would be like, it's like being bipolar, or, just mood swings just going all through. A lot of people go through it on such an extreme level that they do get diagnosed with bipolar and get medications. And there was a time in my life where it was at such an extreme level. Like I would have 10 different emotions in just 2 minutes, literally just like psychotic almost. But no, it's when things aren't going your way, there's a reason behind all of this. But first, let's get into the behavioral signs. Next is obsessive thoughts and behaviors, constantly thinking about a person or situation, leading to a feeling of being unable to focus on anything. It's being obsessive with everything. Like if it's a job, you constantly thinking about it. If it's a person, especially when you're first starting to date someone, you're the type to be like over fantasizing, creating a dream world in your mind of the person next, to want to know what's next, what's this, what we doing, Women like this tend to center men, and men like this do tend to be obsessed with finding a wife or smashing a lot of, like, that's all they think about, just obsessive. They're desperate for it. And those are usually the, can I get a hug, men? Or the men in the DMs talking to themselves, you're not responding, but they still, messaging. And it's just, that they just will go over and beyond doing things to get female validation or attention, or the girl that they want, etc. It's all of those things. And then you have excessive need for reassurance, needing constant validation from others and feeling threatened by their interactions, or the lack of their interactions makes you feel threatened, right? So you need the validation. You cannot take being ignored when you deal with the spirit of desperation. And I think it's a real spirit, if we're going to go there. It's a real spirit, like a spirit of delay and all of that. It's really something, because that excess validation, like some people get violent when they're getting ignored. They can't take rejection well. And that's a spirit of desperation. You're so desperate for validation and love that rejection, which is tied to spirit rejection, it gets you angry. And it's all stemming from that desperation. There's settling for less, making excuses for poor behavior from a partner, or ignoring red flags to avoid being alone. Those are the women that have the spirit of desperation, that stay in relationships where they're getting hit on, or they're getting cheated on. The person has outside children and all this, like things you just would never take. You would never take if you were healed, if you loved yourself, if you were really following Christ. You would never be in a situation. Yeshua doesn't want you in a situation like that. Our Father in heaven does not want you in a relationship like that, but you stay in it because you're desperate. You excuse bad behavior. And it's the parents that is so desperate for the affection and love of their children. They make excuses for their sons. They make excuses for their daughter's bad behavior. They enable a lot of people that are desperate to be liked, that suffer with people pleasing, deal with the spirit of desperation. You're so desperate to be liked, you accept people's behaviors. You don't call it out. You don't check nobody. Nothing like that. I have a whole playlist on people pleasing, how to overcome it. I will pin it in the comments. It's something I dealt with for a very, very long time. It's not cute. It's not a badge of honor. It's not, oh, I love people. No, it's a spirit of desperation. It's lack of self-esteem, lack of self-love. It's manipulation. It's control. It's like, people pleasing is not cute, okay? Find your deliverance. Click on that link right there with that, okay? We have countless videos on the matter, but those are the people too with the spirit of desperation. It could be with the parents. You have children. You won't, the Bible says if you love your child, you won't spare a rod. Don't spare the rod. A parent that loves a child disciplines their child. So don't spare the rod. But a lot of you guys are sparing the rod. You do not love your child. The next is loss of self, sacrificing your own interests, friends, and activities to be constantly available for someone. It's desperate. You're always ready to respond. And there's even friends like that. Like the friend that it's not that they're being a good friend. They're just desperate for your validation. There's a lot of people in our lives that are like that. They're desperate for anyone's validation. It don't matter what time of the night you call them, they're always available. It don't matter what you want to do, they're always down. That friend that's always down. That person that's always ready to go. They have no boundaries, no limits, no time you can't call, none of that. They just like, desperate for friends will have you, like peer pressure. Like a lot of teens and even adults, it's not just teens. I used to think it was just teens in school that are desperate for friends and validation, and they'll get into trouble and do weird stuff. But there's grown adults that fall into that peer pressure too. They want to click, they want to fit in, and they want to have a clique and have, friends that they end up getting into stupid stuff. You've grown. These are the women that are in a relationship. They didn't want to bring another person into the relationship, but they want to keep that man. So they agree to bring another person into the relationship in their bed. Or the man want to keep the woman because women be the aggressors in that too. So they agree to stuff that they wouldn't normally agree to because they're desperate. They're available for whatever. I'm down for whatever. And inside they hate it. You losing yourself. This is not who you are. You agreeing to things you don't really like, because you're desperate. And it's a tough one to let go, but it's tied into people pleasing. If you really struggle with this, I do not neglect clicking on that playlist because it's dangerous. You could lose your salvation from it because then you start to be so desperate for the validation of men because there's childhood stuff. We get into the psychology. So how did you even get here? A lot of it does stem from our childhood. We weren't validated by our parents. We weren't loved one, except we were in constant fight or flight mode. We needed reassurance and we didn't get it all. We grew up desperate for it. We weren't fed with it and we looking for it everywhere else. And only the Most High can fill that up for you. You're not going to find it in people. You're just not. And then you have uncharacteristic actions, taking drastic measures such as stalking or making impulsive decisions out of a sense of hopelessness. This is where the desperate person does start to stalk. Create a fake page to not watch your page. Drive by your house, calling you from a blocked number. Desperate. The person stopped giving you attention. And now you overspying. It's not in your character. You're watching yourself do it. And then you're just like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. It's a spirit motivating you to do that. It's desperation and it's wounds you need to heal. Physical tension, feeling restless, having a racing heartbeat or a constant feeling of tension in your body. You can't sleep at night. You tossing and turning, thinking about this thing. Your mind is not at rest. You anxious. You have anxiety. Desperation does that to you. Anxiety, which goes into anxiety and restlessness, a persistent feeling of being on edge or nervous. Your heart is racing. You're on edge. You just a feeling of doom and gloom. You got to pray that away when you feel it. Like, you feel hopeless. It could be a situation you've been praying for in your spiritual life. It could be a situation you're praying for and things are escalating. And you're, no, this when you pray, I know this feeling's not from you. Calm my anxious heart. Remove this from me. Let me trust in you. And I'm preaching to myself. It makes me emotional because it just crashing out for no reason on God. And I'm like, no. You have a friend, go pray to him. Don't let this feeling consume you. It's not hopeless. I'm sure Daniel, as he was walking up to be thrown into the lion's den, can you imagine how anxious he wasn't? He trusted in God. God allowed him to be thrown in the lion's den. Sometimes God will allow you to be thrown in a lion's den, and you got to trust him. Sometimes he will allow you to be sold into slavery like Joseph and be thrown into jail. You gotta still trust him, and you'll stay in there. It won't be like Daniel the next day you're out. Joseph stayed in there. You still can't let that hopelessness and anxiety consume you. You have a friend. And then the physical manifestations of distress, wringing hands, tight grip, like you hold on to the wheel of the car, tight grip, short, frequent breaths, or even temper tantrums out of nowhere. You alone in the house, things not going your way, and you getting irritated. Calm down. That's not from you, God. Pray and release. And here's the spiritual signs: intense longing for God, an intense hunger or craving for a spiritual connection that can feel like a physical hunger. That's when it's good in the spiritual, right? It's a hunger. That's the only time it's good. When you're like, man, I have moments where I'm like, I'm tripping. Like, this is not, I need to go. I need to go back in. Shut everything down. I need a day to just read my word and reconnect. That's the only desperation you need. But here is where the spiritual and the spirit is bad, is irritability and anger, experiencing high levels of irritability and lashing out at loved ones and even God. Desperation can lead you to even lash out on God, lash out on your kids, lash out on your spouse, your friends, co-workers, and even God. And then you have a sense of spiritual emptiness, a feeling that God's presence is missing from your life, leading to a yearning for a deeper connection. You feel empty. You feel he's absent. You feel alone. That's what the spirit likes to make you do. And then you get the hopelessness, the anger, the tears, no. Or just do nothing at all. No. Go lock in, go pray, go read your word. And that's a lie. He lying to me. This voice is lying to me. I'm not alone. I'm not hopeless. Desperation those feelings can arise too when we mess up. We fall short. And then we feel like God ain't going to forgive us. And then we just go down the deep end and spiral. Or there's a prayer he's not answering, so he must not care. He must not love me. No, we spiral. Desperate because we need a solution desperately for this issue. And you're not responding. Spiral. Rebuke. Go read your word. Go pray. Why God's people must not entertain the spirit. One, it makes you question God and his authority. You start to question, is his way best? Why am I waiting? Why is he not responding? Does he care? Maybe he made a mistake. Maybe he can't see what I can see. How come I can see it and he can't? You start to even get disrespectful. If you entertain, we can't entertain it because it can make you disrespectful to God. Job almost went there, and God quickly responded to him. Like, I did a video on Job. Slow down, Job. You're questioning authority. Come here. You ever seen a kid be so frustrated, they get so disrespectful? You're like, we get like that with God. That's why we can't entertain it. The minute it creeps in, go pray even if it's hard. Go start listening to worship song even if it's hard. Rebuke it even if it's hard. Don't entertain it. 2, makes you act quickly and silence the voice of God. The spirit of desperation makes you move quickly. You feel like, I got to do this now. I got to figure something out. I got to move. You don't want to wait. You don't want to wait on God. You want to bring on the solution, and you'll do whatever to bring on that solution. You move quicker than you need to. He's taking too long to bring you your spouse, then you just go and decide, I'm just going to go with this person. Because he's taking too long. No patience. He's taking too long to bring the funds for you to pay your rent. So you know what? Let me go ask this person I know God don't even want me doing business with. Let me go sell something. Let me go steal. You start to plot. Number 3 leads to witchcraft and searching for meaning and solutions outside of God. Desperation does that. Desperation does that. And then you start to want to take control of your life. You feel like you're losing control. And you feel like God, who says he's always in control, is losing control of the ship. You don't do life like those out on the boat. Wake up, master. Don't you see that we're drowning the storm? He got up, he said, "You have little faith." That's what he said. But a lot of you guys want to control your life, so you get into witchcraft. I want control because I feel like I'm losing control. And then you realize you don't have control in witchcraft. It may seem like it in the beginning. You realize how truly your life is about. You're still empty. You still feel a void. You're still dealing with the spirit of desperation. Number 4, settling for things God did not want for you. You're settling for relationships and friendships He didn't want for you because you're desperate. You're desperate just to move out to buy a house. You don't take your time. You get the first one that comes. That's not what God has something even better for you. He had an even better car. When I was buying my first car on my own, like no one's helping, this, that, I was going to take the first thing I saw. I had someone in my corner to be like, be patient. Let's read. Let's do it. And then I was able to find a car a dream car for half the price of a raggedy one I was going to get. Just patience. Number 5, breeds impatience and anger, which are not fruits of the Spirit. Because when you're desperate. What is the fruit of the Spirit? Patience. Not anger, not impatience, but it breeds that. It breeds that. And you just, some people unfortunately even go to the deeper end. They're so impatient, like you rushed, you got into a relationship that God didn't want for you. He's putting hands on you, he's doing all that. Now he's not getting me out of it. But what does Proverbs 19 says? Let's go back to Proverbs 19, verse 3. People ruin their lives by their own foolishness and then are angry at the Lord. We ruin our lives by our impatience. We didn't want to wait. We rushed into that relationship. We didn't heal. Now he's beating us. He's doing all this. He's doing all that. We get angry. We can't get out of it. You can, but you're not changing your perspective. And some people, unfortunately, take themselves out. Were you so lonely? The right person's not coming yet, and you're so impatient. You literally decide to check out of life. It will steal you. Wait, desperation will put you in the wrong places. It's not an isolating spirit like the spirit of rejection. They're two different things. Desperation, that spirit of desperation, people pleasing actually puts you in crowds that you don't belong. That desperate spirit looks like that person that's in everybody's face, everybody's friend. They're everywhere. They're never at home. They have FOMO. They don't want to miss out. That spirit of desperation look like that girl that responds to every DM, every advance a man does, every person that approaches her. That spirit of desperation looks like that parent that allows their child to sell substances in their home, to bring any girl, any guy in there, lay on the bed and just do it, no respect. Allow the child to speak to them any kind of way. That spirit of desperation is, you know them friends don't like you. Their jokes are a little too shady. They're weird. They always have comments to say about you. They've proven already to you that they're fake. They'll talk behind your back, but you're still in their face. It doesn't isolate you. It actually pushes you to be around people for validation, desperation. You might not like friends. That's not what you're desperate for. You're desperate for love. So you might have no friends, like those girls. I don't have friends. I don't hang with girls. But you're constantly in and out toxic relationships that don't work. Or you're in a loveless one, or even a star-crossed lover, lopsided relationship. You're so obsessed with the guy, he's not that into you like you're into him or her. You've obsessed, made that person your whole world. You don't have no friends, no family. It put you in that person is even above God. That's how desperation works. Desperation is responding to that person that ghost you every night. Like, what? I'm not desperate. You're not going to respond to me when you feel like it, and I'm just always going to be here. You're always available. That's what it said. That was the first one, right? That manifestation felt available for everyone. When you need me, I'm available. But when I need you, where you at? That's what it looks like. This is why we crush people pleasing. Stop responding. I stop responding to people. I'm not. There's an age you get. Desperation looks like, even for the girls and guys. You're talking to somebody for years. You like them. You're saving yourself for that person. They've never made a move. Never said how they felt. They just want to stay in the perpetual talking stage with you until they find who they really want. And you make yourself available because you respond when they come out the blue every now and then to hit you up with some conversation. Excuse me? Are you that desperate? You know how many people are on the sea? And a lot of you guys are gorgeous. You're gorgeous. And the men are handsome. Why are you taking this? Why are you taking this? You don't have to. Respect yourself. Love yourself. Love God. Because God don't call for this for you. He loves you too much to watch you go through this. I don't know what else to add. But you guys, it's real out here. Get wisdom, get understanding, love yourself. Desperation is not from God. It's not cute. It's sad. That's all I'm going to say. Desperate is buying people's love. Giving all your money. Paying for everyone at the table when you ain't got it. Buying people gifts so they can like you and see you as good. It's performing, putting on an act every time. You have to be funny. You have to be the funny one, live up to the title. You have to entertain. You can't live in silence with people. You can't let people be bored in your presence. You have to perform. You're constantly performing. And then you go home and you're drained. You're tired and you don't know why you're spiritually tired. You spiritually expose yourself to everyone. You had no spiritual maintenance. Excuse the vulgarity as I say this, but it just came to mind. The spirit of desperation is a spirit of whoredom. You're a spiritual whore. And that's what happened with Israel. Israel was desperate to be like the other nations. They whored themselves and prostituted themselves to get validation and be like the other nations. That's what they begged Samuel for, a king, and they got Saul because they wanted to be like the other nations. That's what the verse says. God said they didn't reject you, Saul. They rejected me. Give them what they want. They're desperate for. Because that is the spirit of whoredom. When you're desperate, you whore yourself to the devil. You go into witchcraft. You spiritually open yourself to any and everything, soul ties, demonic ties. You become a spiritual whore. And the Bible describes that. You become an adulterer spiritually. You're not comfortable being uncomfortably in solitude. You're down for everything. You have no limits, no boundaries, no class. It's sad. And I'm not judging. Like I said, I dealt with this. If you check my people-pleasing video, I dealt with it. People-pleasing is a sin. I showed y'all biblically how so. God don't call you to be walked all over. He don't call you to be available for everything and be desperate and no. We're healing over here. I'm preaching to myself. We're healing. We're not doing that. Get somebody else to do it. Don't be a spiritual whore. Say no. Learn to say no. Because that's why a lot of y'all got into substances in the first place. You couldn't say no. You slept with that person. You couldn't say no because you're desperate. You ruin your life. Proverbs 19, verse 3. People ruin their lives by their own foolishness and then are angry at the Lord. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you in the next one. I just want to say a huge thank you to all the supporters that have sent Cash Apps and PayPal. I've seen it all. And I just want to say thank you to you guys who understand why a lot of creators are pushing away from Super Thanks and going towards PayPal and Cash App because of how YouTube is doing us behind the scenes with it. I appreciate it, though I cannot send everyone a personal message or personally say thank you. I want to end every video by saying thank you because it really helps to push out content unfiltered to you guys. May the Lord reward you tenfold.